All right, good afternoon to everybody. Today is Saturday, June 14th. And first and foremost, I want to wish everyone all the fathers that are watching this a happy Father's Day. And I'm really excited to share this information with everybody because a lot of people right now are starting to see what's happening with gold and silver. And this will definitely give you a lot of insight information. This is an informational presentation, and it's something that'll definitely benefit you as I go over a little bit of the history and what's included with silver and gold and some things that you should keep in mind if you're looking to start saving in the form of precious metals, or also some tips and pointers or what you can do to start doing something to grow your savings and help you build more wealth and financial security for your family. So I wanted to preface this by saying a savings account in gold and silver isn't just smart, it's protection. You think your savings account is safe in the bank? You better think again because inflation eats away your dollars every day, but there's a smarter way to save. In this video today and in this presentation, I'm going to show you why gold and silver could be the most secure savings account you've never considered. Okay, because like right now, there's a lot of information out there, and a lot of it is focused on cryptocurrencies because a lot of times people or that's kind of pretty much the thing that a lot of people have been focused on lately is cryptocurrencies. But this is something with precious metals. It's something it stood the course of time. Okay. It's been, it's like I've said in previous presentations, what did one of the wise men bring the infant Jesus? He brought him gold because even back then, gold had its significance. It's always had its importance and its value. So, and silver and gold are the only two true forms of currency. Everything, the paper money that we use on a daily basis, or even cryptocurrency, you can't physically hand somebody cryptocurrency, okay? And something to keep in mind too is that, with cryptocurrency, if there's, any issues with electricity being out or no internet connection or whatever, you can't transact with cryptocurrencies. Whereas within physical silver and gold, that's something that is you go to any country across the globe, every country will take silver and gold. Okay, so there's no exceptions there. It's something that it's uh it's held its value over the course of time, and it's something that, a physical, tangible gold and silver is something that people should highly consider when saving for their family and their future. So this is part of our special Grads and Dads Silver and Gold event here in Galena, Illinois. We're streaming this live on Zoom, and then also for the audience here that's watching this presentation as well. So during the giveaway here, because we're going to have a giveaway for the people that are present here watching this live presentation. We have three surprise giveaways. One's for somebody who graduated this year, and then also a Father's Day here, for a Father's Day drawing, and then that's for somebody who's a father, and then also a general drawing for the people that are here in the audience or live on the Zoom call. Okay, so what I want to do is, in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you different tips and ways for you to take control of your future in 2025. And also, I'm going to share with you how you can save, share, and then earn. And also, what's instant gold pay. Okay, so this is something that I got a lot of information that I want to share with everybody. So if you're watching this on a replay and it's something you're expecting going to be a 5 or 10 minute presentation, I go deep dive into this information with everybody so you have a better full understanding of precious metals, and it's going to give you some history and some background. And I'm also going to share some clips from some experts, some additional experts in the industry, and this way that you have an overall picture of why it is important to start saving for your future in some form of silver and gold. Okay, and so I have here I'm just going to show this real quick here. So what you're going to learn in the presentation is what everyone should know before they buy gold and silver. And I'm going to give you some additional insight about repatriation, revaluation of gold, and then the central bank purchases and why they're purchasing so much, okay? And then how to benefit from gold without buying gold. And then also, basically, if you even have a dollar to put it in gold or silver, and I'm going to share with you today how you can do that. But I do want to share this with you because I'm going to have some examples here in a little bit in the presentation. But going back from last week's event to this week's event, you see that gold has gone from 3309.50 up to 3433.60 an ounce. So it's actually, with that type of increase in just this past week, a lot of what's added to that is the conflict in Israel and Iran. That's added to it. And then also here you can see even with gold is, or I'm sorry, silver has had an increase from last week to this week. And what's key about silver, and I'll touch on this here and also on some of the clips that I share from some other industry experts, is that silver has, eclipsed the $36 mark, which is huge. It's like kind of like you'll see it in the charts, but it's something that's huge for silver because it's been, going up and down, and a lot of times there's like controlling entities that actually help push down the value of gold and silver, and you'll find that out in some of the clips that I share. But in this case here with silver actually eclipsing that $36 mark, this is huge. This hasn't happened. I think the last time it happened was around 2011. So this is the first time in over a decade that it's actually eclipsed that point. So this is something that it's important that you'll see why here in this video. Okay, so our thought for the day is this. Okay, gold and silver aren't just shiny metals; they're actually real money, and that's like I said, they stood the test of time. They've always been around. They've held value for centuries. Where paper currencies fails, when banks collapse, or when inflation spikes, guess what people turn to? And that's precious metals. Okay. And I'll show you, you're going to see in this video different examples of that. Okay. And here's the best part about it is you don't need to be rich to get started. 1 ounce of silver, an example here's an American Silver Eagle, costs less than a dinner for two. And gold, you can buy small fractional amounts and also even at $1 at a time. And that's what I'm going to share with you here in this video today as well. So gold and silver don't just sit there, they protect your purchasing power over the course of time. All right. And if your bank savings grow by 1%, but inflation is 5%, you're losing money every year by keeping that money in the bank, getting those low interest rates, and you're not even realizing it. It's something like a lot of times people like to look at that number and say, okay, well, I have this much saved, but the amount of money that you're saving because of inflation and everything, you're actually losing money by having it just sit there. Okay. And, nothing against banks, but it's not necessarily the best way to have your money saved in. Okay. So what I'm going to share here in this presentation, these are some people I highly recommend, if you are on YouTube and you're looking to follow somebody that's additional people besides myself that are going to share information with you about gold and silver, I would recommend Mike Maloney from goldsilver.com. Also, Robert Kiyosaki, he's the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad. Andy Schectman from Miles Franklin, and then also Jim Rickards. All of these are people that I follow on a regular basis, and they always have great, insightful, informational videos that keep a pulse on what's happening, not only in gold and silver, but also like oil and real estate and different types of commodities. So they're very knowledgeable gentlemen, and I highly recommend you check them out at some point. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to share two clips here, and actually, this one changed. It's not the Silver 9X, but I'm going to share one from Mike Maloney that he did about a week ago regarding silver. And then also Andy Schectman. This is a video that I'm going to share that he did earlier in this year about the repatriation of gold. And then also he's talking about what they could do to eliminate the United States debt. Okay. And then also I'm going to share a little, I'll have this after those two video clips. I'm going to share this Kitco news thing on why the reevaluation of gold could be huge for anybody who actually is like a personal, somebody who's personally saving in the form of gold and silver, but also why, you know, every country across the globe would want the reevaluation of gold. Okay, so this is something that's pretty interesting. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull up a new screen, and with this, it's going to actually, let's see, hang on 1 second. Here, bear with me 1 second. Okay, so this is the video that I'm going to be sharing with everybody from Mike Maloney. It's from Silver. It's called Silver Maybe Gaining a Life of Its Own. This was actually about 8 days ago. And this clip here, he's going to be talking about something that I've referred to in some of the other videos that I've shared with everybody, but also the situation with the silver and gold and the cup and handle, which you'll see on some of the charts, which I'll explain here in a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and play this clip, and then I'll also include the link for this YouTube video below in the comments section when I post this on YouTube and also Rumble, so that way you can check out the full video if you would like.
Believe that I was the first person to recognize, everybody was talking about the cup and handle that was developing on gold in this time frame, myself included. I was focused on it. I was pointing out the gold cup and handle. There was a triple top and inverse head and shoulders pattern, and I said when it broke through it, it was going to make a slingshot move. That is exactly what happened. But then I took a look at silver, and there is this giant cup and handle going back 45 years to January of 1980. When it breaks this, look out below, or should I say, look out above, because this is going to skyrocket. It's going ballistic, astronomical. Now, a quick plug here. If you want to support this channel, the way
Okay. All right. So what I wanted to share that because this is, the whole cup and handle thing. I'll go through that again, and you'll see between gold, silver, and I'm also even going to show copper. That has a consistency where whenever the gold and silver or copper start to raise in value, there's a pattern that happens. Okay, there's like daily the stock, the value of gold, silver, and copper and other precious metals goes up and down. And even like platinum's another one right now that's actually starting to take off as well. But when you see the pattern, there's a reason. As the pattern develops with the cup and handle, that's really eye-opening, and that's what Mike was referring to there. So what I want to do here is I want to share this other video here from Andy Schectman. Okay, and let me see here. All right. So with this video from Andy Schectman, this is from a little bit earlier in this year, and he's talking about the reevaluation of gold. So I'm going to share a couple minutes from this video. So it's actually very eye-opening as well.
This is a lot of content. We'll start maybe with your presentation, because I think that's an interesting, really workshop title that you chose, and it's a bit of a provocative one, and we can take it from in various directions based on the title.
Right.
I haven't listened to it, so you'll have to give us the cliff notes here, Andy. But the title was revaluing the dollar. Will that solve all our problems? Paraphrasing a little bit here, but what were the main takeaways here, Andy?
So gold is held in every central bank balance sheet, ironically enough, in an account called the gold revaluation account. You have the head of the Dutch National Bank who's been advocating for revaluing the price of gold for a very long time. This isn't a new topic, by the way. I mean, Roosevelt confiscated gold in April of 1933, paid everyone $20.56 for their $20 gold piece. That 56 cents, 100 plus years ago, had significant purchasing power back then when a loaf of bread was a nickel, and you're getting an extra 56 cents for every $20 coin that you turn in. It had significance. People were happy, and then immediately he devalued the dollar by 40%, making gold $35 an ounce. And so it was revalued in essence. And we saw the same thing in 1971 when Nixon closed the gold window, only it was revalued by the market, not by a central authority. The window was closed at $35 an ounce, and here it is today at over $2,700 an ounce. It was revalued. To bring it closer to home, Senator Loomis from Wyoming, Cynthia Loomis, at the Bitcoin conference in Tennessee, speaking right after Trump, gets up on stage and says, President Trump is advocating for the Bitcoin Reserve. I am going to float a bill that requests the gold being held by the Federal Reserve on behalf of the Treasury is revalued with the.
Do you want to know where to invest $1,000?
Sorry about that.
Now? Forget about AI, quantum computing, electric
proceeds being used to buy the Bitcoin. And so the point of it is that it is an option where all of the central banks have been accumulating gold for the past several years. And before that, the most powerful bank in the world reclassified it the only other tier one reserve asset in the world. And if you take a look at the progression, the BIS is not only the biggest bank in the world. They're the most powerful. They make the rules. They know the decisions. Why would they reclassify gold tier one? Why would the central banks be purchasing it at a level the world has never seen? And it's not stopping. October and November 2024, I haven't seen the December numbers yet. Their purchases were double the 12-month moving average. And then equally as startling to me and telling is the repatriation. Over 40 countries have brought their gold back from the New York Fed and the Bank of England. India, as an example, bought more gold in the first few months of 2024 than they did all of 2023. And they brought all of that home along with 100 metric tons they've held at the Bank of England for a very long time. There is a drive to repatriate the price of gold. There is a drive or repatriate gold in terms of possession, and there is a drive to revalue the price of gold to reflect a balance sheet across the globe that are filled with liabilities. And as it is right now, gold is not allowed to offset those liabilities on the balance sheet and is valued across the globe at $35 an ounce on those balance sheets. It's no wonder the head of the Dutch National Bank or one of the main representatives at the Bundesbank said, yes, we have all this gold in the revaluation account. We should do something with it. So yeah, I think it is an option. It's a lot easier than inflating outright or defaulting outright. Put the gold, and as crazy as it sounds, Kyle, you put it at 142,000 an ounce, and 100% of your liabilities on the U.S. balance sheet would be offset with gold and would give you options. And you know, every $4,000 increase in the price of gold, the Treasury General account gets $1 trillion free and clear. Is it crazy? Yeah, it's unconventional, but it's being bantered around by a lot of people. And when I saw it come closer to home with Senator Loomis actually bring it up, I started to think, well, this is something that's on the table. They certainly notice it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to share that because sorry about that. This is what happens when you go live. You know, there's different things that happen. Okay, so that was my computer acting up there a little bit with YouTube. But you know, you see what he's saying there as far as the repatriation of gold. So all these countries, and I'll show you something here in a chart real shortly. All these countries started taking physical delivery of gold. So, you know, there's a reason for that, but you know, is the mainstream media talking about that? No, they're not even talking about most of the stuff that I'm sharing on this video. So this is something that don't go by what your mainstream media is telling you, whether you're here in the United States or Canada, UK, Australia, no matter where you're at, regardless of where you're at, they're not going to be talking to you about and sharing the information that's being shared in this video, and then also what I've shared with Mike Maloney, and then also Andy Schectman right there. So what I want to do here is I'm going to go ahead and pull up this. Okay. And all right. Share. There we go. Okay. All right. So with you know, I made the comment about let's see if you can pull this up here, and hopefully this is recording because my computer is not cooperating with me here. Share. There we go. Okay. So right now with gold, okay, so like sorry about that. All right. Here we go again. You know, modern technology, and it's great if it works when you want it to work. So the statutory price of gold is set by law. It does not fluctuate with the market price of gold, and has been constant at $42.29, which is 42.222 per troy ounce since 1973. So in 1973, when Nixon took the US dollar off the gold standard, this was the book value of the gold held by the Treasury. And it's, you know, this is the date that I took this from the federalreserve.gov. But that's what the value of per ounce per gold that all these central banks in every country, you know, in every country in the world values the gold that they have on the books as $42 and, you know, 0.22222 into infinity as per ounce. So, you know, what Andy Schectman was referring to there is, you know, if they do a revaluation of gold and they do raise the price, which is something that right now, from the people that I've listened to, from what Andy said and everything, there's been talk about this happening in July of next year, perhaps, or even sooner. But the only thing is there's no guarantee when it's going to happen. And for one, your mainstream media is not going to be telling you about this because it's something that, you know, every government, whether you believe it or not, every government controls what the media tells you. Or so it's like they're not going to say, okay, by the way, on July 4th of 2026, we're going to change the value of gold from $42 to $9,000 an ounce. Okay, so that's something that actually one of the numbers that Jim Rickards had pointed out is that it's in one of his videos was that the reevaluation of gold, it change to as much as that. So that's why I wanted to share that, because it's important for you to get a different perspective on from other people as to what some of the experts in the industry are talking about. Okay. So I want to show this is a chart from courtesy. It's courtesy of goldprice.org. And also, like if you want to go there, you can actually see the current charts as well. So this is actually going back to last Saturday because I did some specific examples I'll show you here in a minute, but this goes back to last Saturday, which at the close was 33.54. Okay, and sorry, 33.0950. So everybody, if depending on which chart you look at, sometimes this was taken on a Saturday morning, but it actually technically closed Friday at 33.0950. Okay, so when you go to these different places, you can actually see what the 30-day change in the performance of gold. So here the 30-day, like at this specific date, it had a decrease in 93 cents or 0.03%. But over the 30-day average, it was up $279.31, which is a 9% gain. 6 months is that much, which is 20% over a year. And I will show you this chart. And this is when I was putting together this presentation. It just blew my mind when I came across some of my old slides that I had shared in different presentations. What has happened to gold and silver over the last year? Okay. And for about 2 years now, I've been kind of, in my videos, I've been sharing like people, it's like, this is happening. It's going to happen. It's going to go up. And hopefully the people that watched it took advantage of it. But if you even go for 1 year, it's up 38%, 5 years, 96%, 20 years, 676%. So that means if you would have invested in gold 20 years ago, you would have had a 676% gain. And I'm not going to bash financial advisors, but if your financial advisor is not telling you to save anything in gold and silver, you should fire him. I'm sorry, that's my flat out point, because he's not looking out for your best interest. And the reason why typical financial advisors do not want to recommend gold and silver is because they look at it as a one-time deal. But what I'm going to share with you in this video, how you can actually take control of your own future by doing it yourself. You don't have to rely on anybody else. And then, but also, if they're not handling if they're handling your portfolio and managing stocks and whatever you have, have them taken care of for you, that's where he makes his money. But if you have him buy gold or silver once or twice or whatever, he's only going to charge you whatever per that time. So it's not going to be an ongoing thing. So that's why they do not recommend it. Okay. So that's where, like I said, if they're not recommending that you save a certain percentage in gold and silver, I would get rid of them because they're not really looking out for your best interest. That's my personal opinion. Okay. But that's what I would recommend. And so that's something too. Okay. So I'm going to show you this is courtesy of silverprice.org. Okay. So like what Mike Maloney was showing in his video as well. This is the 30-year price. His went back to the 1970s. So this giant cup and handle. Okay. So what he's saying is there's usually, and this is another cup which is actually part of the handle that Mike was showing. Each uh, the bigger the dip, so you see the difference here. You see this is the cup. There's the handle. There's the cup. There's the handle. Here's another giant cup forming. Okay, so this is what you see the similarities here with you see how it's going down. There's the cup. There's the handle. That's what Mike was saying. Is usually when there's three where it has the three peaks there and the reverse head and shoulders, this is the reverse head and there's the shoulders. That's usually when it starts going up. So like with silver, okay, so silver on June 7th was 36.02 an ounce. So the difference that day was down 10 cents, 30 days was down 97, 6 months was down 234. But over the course of the year, it was at 13, going back to a year, it hit a 13.3% gain. 5 years was 113%. 20 years was 361%. So you're seeing the long-term increase of gold and silver. Now, what a lot of people are not talking about it, but since the beginning of the year, silver has had a 45% increase. Okay, 45% from January 1st to here we are today, June 14th. So think about that too as well when you're saving a little bit for your future. Now, I didn't want to show you this about copper because people don't always talk about copper because it's not as sexy and glamorous as gold and silver, but at the same time, it does have its value, okay? And the big difference here with gold and silver are measured in ounces, copper is measured in pounds, okay? So you look at here, you even going back to 1960, and I apologize for this chart, and it's not showing the value, but it's actually right now, copper is, I apologize, around $5, or I'm sorry, $4, higher than $4, okay? But over the course of time, this is why I wanted to share this chart because you see the same types of patterns happening here. You have the cup, there's the handle where it's kind of a little bit bigger handle. You do the smaller dip there for the cup, and here's another big cup, and then here's the handle. So you see there's actually a direct correlation between silver and copper. So when copper starts to um, gain momentum and move in price, so does silver. Okay, so and that's what we're seeing now between copper is on the rise, and so is silver as well. So just touching bases on the central bank purchases. I want to see this here again. I've got this this courtesy of macromicro.me. It shows the central bank chart purchases going back from 2010 to 2025. Now, this is what I wanted to point out here. Now, this is something that's really critical as to, what, Andy Schectman made reference to this as well as the central banks purchasing more and more and more gold. And there's a reason for that, but we don't exactly know why. But it basically, when it comes to the revaluation of gold, that's most likely what the signs and the signals are pointing to. Like I said, and I'm going to rephrase this again. This is an informational video and tips and what I've seen and the research that I've done that I wanted to pass along to you. So if you do want to consult with your financial advisor, and he does, like I said, if he says, don't worry about gold and silver, we'll check with another one then. But just, do your due diligence whenever you're planning on saving or investing in anything. Okay, this is not like an investment advice video. It is an informational video. Okay. So, but the key date here is February 24th, 2022, and that is when the Ukraine-Russian war officially started, I guess you could say, although it was kind of like an ongoing conflict, but that's when uh, the war broke out. So you look at here, and this is February, here's March, bam, look at that. This is, as far as like tons of, amount of gold that these are in tons. So from, you go from February up to, that's like triple the amount of gold. And you see it's still kind of going up and down here, but it's higher now than it has been in the past decade before. Okay. And the reason for that was because of when the US put sanctions on Russia for, the war, all these other countries in the BRICS nations, especially, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, they all started thinking, okay, well, wait a minute. If the United States can do this to Russia, you know, what prevents them from doing it to us if we do something that they do not agree with our war and not in alignment with their thought process. So that's why all these other countries started doing this, like Andy Shepard referenced, the repatriation of gold, meaning bring it back into the country, saying, no, I want physical delivery of gold. I don't want to just talk about numbers or ETFs or anything like that. We want physical gold back in our country, and that's what the central banks. That's what they're doing is they're stockpiling all this gold. Okay. So something to kind of keep in mind. It's like this. I know this is a lot of information. Uh, but then also gold has outshined stocks in the 21st century. And that is a fact. Okay. So this is source S&P, the S&P data. It's data from December 31st, 1999 through December 29th, 2023. And so you can see the difference. Here's the gold and here's the stock prices. Okay. So it just shows you how, and here you see that cup and handle thing again. Okay. So you don't see it like here's stocks. They kind of go up, go down, but it's kind of more of like a steady thing. But like with gold and silver, when you have this cup and then the handle, usually that's when it stays steady. Now, well, I'm just going to say this from a personal perspective. Will gold ever go below $3,000 again? Personally, I do not feel that. I think that would be if it ever went even close to that, it would probably like in a dip type thing like here. It would might go to 29 or maybe 3,000. I highly doubt it at this point, but it's possible. Anything's possible. But when it does, it's actually gonna slingshot back up, and that's kind of what Mike was, referring to in his videos. Okay, so I just wanted to share that with everybody too. So this is another thing where if you're financial advisor is just saying stock, 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 stock. Well, show him this chart because he can't deny it. Okay. So real quick here. So I'm going to show you some examples and I'm going to share a short video with you, and then we'll wrap everything up. But here's usually what happens with silver. It does move with gold, but it moves later. Okay. Gold will shoot up first, and then you'll see silver take off rapidly, and silver always outperforms gold. It's just late. And so that's what we're starting to see now. Like I said, from the beginning of the year till now, silver is up 45%. Okay. That's a huge, huge, huge increase. Okay. So what I want to do here is I want to show you some examples. So like I said, when I was putting together this presentation, I kept these slides because I want to share with everybody, the huge difference. And this goes back to May and June of last year. Okay, so on May 4th of last year, gold was at 2302. We're up over $1,000 from that right now. Silver was at 2657, and we're at 30. It's up $10 basically. Okay. So, there's the silver to gold ratio. Typically it's like in this slide here, I have, the gold silver ratio at this point of this here, which was March 14th of 2024. The gold silver ratio was 86 to 1. And the average gold silver ratio in the modern era has generally ranged between 40 to 1 and 60 to 1, meaning it takes 40 ounces or 60 ounces of silver to equal 1 ounce of gold. Okay, so in this example here, when I was going back to May 4th of last year, I based it off of $2,300 an ounce for gold. So at 60 to 1, silver would be 38 to 30, 38, 33, which is a 30% gain. If it went to 40 to 1, silver would be 57.50, which would be 117% gain. So this is something, and I did it again on June 15th of last year, and you could see even like the fluctuation with silver. Silver went up quite a bit to 29.59 versus that, but then also gold was more steady, but in that case here it was a 78 to 1, where on May 4th it was 86 to 1. On June 15th, it was 78 to 1. So then I go back to this was April 18th, another presentation that I did. Gold was at 33.15. So we're going, from less than a year, we're over $1,000 and an ounce in gold, and silver was 32.40, whereas back here it was 26.57. So you see the gains there. So in this case here, there's been very few times in the history of gold and silver where gold, the silver to gold ratio was over 100 to 1. Okay. And in this case here, in this case here on April 18th, it would take 102 ounces of silver to equal 1 ounce of gold. So when I calculated it out at 33.15, a 60 to 1 ratio, silver would be 55.25 per ounce, which is 70% gain. And if it evens out, which at some point it will, this is why I'm trying to give personal perspective and some insight that don't just necessarily focus on gold, but your priority might be to focus on silver. Okay. And at 40 to 1, silver would be 82.87. So that's 155% gain. So is that unrealistic? No, these are very realistic numbers that it could happen. So I did this when I did this presentation last Saturday. Gold was at 33.0950, silver was at 36.02. And at that point, it was a 91.8 ounce of silver to 1 gold ratio. Okay, so here again, there's the types of increases at 60 to 1 and 40 to 1. So this is something to keep in mind. There's a huge upside, and silver is already reflecting that this year with the 45% increase in value, since the beginning of the year. So I did want to share this also because this is something that you don't, unless you look it up yourself, or think to look it up, you wouldn't know which states actually consider gold and silver as legal tenders. So there's 11 states, you see them all here in red, that consider gold and silver legal tender. And then the majority of the United States is still not just still not consider it legal tender. So the thing, there's going that in order for that to happen, it would have to be something that like President Trump would have to make it, across the board, because the only problem is that when it's gold and silver are a legal tender in every single state, and every single business can actually transact in physical silver and gold, the government can't control it. Okay, because that's something that people have physical gold and silver. So when they're transacting in it, the government can't track and monitor how much everything is, because it's in a physical gold and silver. Whereas if it's in dollars, then that's something that they can track a little bit better. So as far as it being something that each different state, like several states have by now passed bills eliminating these taxes, because there's what is the impact of accepting gold and silver as legal tenders? The state laws declaring the shift of gold and silver currency would eliminate capital gains taxes on sales of gold and silver in states that accept the two metals as legal tender. So when they eliminate the capital gains tax, that's where the federal government loses control over how much income they have, based on gold and silver. So that's why it would be interesting to see if what happens down the road with this. Okay. So, and like I've made mention in some of my other previous videos, was that the only way to really get things under the control would to be to back the US dollar again by gold. Okay. So you had Nixon took it off the gold standard, and a lot of it was because a lot of countries didn't started not trusting us, because they thought we did not have the gold to back the US dollar, okay, or the treasury notes. So this is something that, kind of keep this in mind. This is something that long term, it's again, gold and silver and precious metals are a safe way to add additional savings to your future. Okay, so I'm going to share this short information here about gold and silver storage, because it kind of plays into what I'm going to share with everybody next. At the beginning of the video, I said how you could actually start saving, save in gold and silver with as little as $1 at a time. I'm going to share with you how you can do that. Okay, but a lot of it plays into the cost of gold and silver storage. Now, I have a couple examples here I'm going to show you. And this is something, this is goldsilver.com. This is all information from last week that I looked up. So a lot of it depends on how much you have, whereas you're having them store it for you, okay? Because a lot of people don't want to take a lot of people can't, do not want to take physical delivery from the security standpoints of, well, what if somebody breaks into my house or something like that? Okay, so a lot of times people will have these different gold and silver companies store it for them, which is actually not a bad idea. But just kind of keep in mind, if you do that, whether you go with like gold, silver, or these other companies that I share with you, this is some of the fees, the additional fees that you're going to have just besides purchasing silver and gold. Okay, so like with goldsilver.com, this shows you the quarterly fees and the yearly allocated storage fees. So like if you're have like $100,000 worth of gold or silver in storage for them, you're going to be paying an additional $720 a year just for storage. It shows you the lower you go, the less the fees are, but there's still a fee to do it. So like the cheapest, if you have less than $6,666, then you would have a monthly quarterly fee of $12, which comes out to $48, which that's not too bad for like a lower fee. Okay. So here's with Money Metals Exchange. Okay. So they have, where here's gold and silver was $48 for 6,000 below, or in here it's 72. So Money Metals has 0 to 16,000 roughly is a $96 annual fee. Okay. If you have 16,000 to 99, you're paying up, 0.59%. And then if you have 100,000 at 0.49, 0.49%, that's additional fees that you're having to pay to store your gold and silver, which, okay, yeah, it's going to be stored and it's going to be safe, but at the same time, you're paying extra money for it. Okay. And then also the last one I have here is SD Bullion. Now, the minimum, when I looked this up, because they want you to create an account and contact somebody in order to figure out exactly how much they have pricing as low as $9.99 a month. So what I did is you take that times 12, it's $119.88 per year. Okay, so that would be a minimum. So you have $119.88 from SD Bullion. You have money metals. The minimum would be 96 per year. And then for goldsilver.com, it would be 48 minimum per year. So goldsilver.com has the lowest there. But what I'm going to share with you here is the next part of its presentation is a company that I have. I'm an independent affiliate of 7K. Most of you that have followed me for a while know that, and I highly recommend them. I've been with them for 5 years now. But right now, 7K Metals is available in over 41 countries across the globe. I've got this. I actually had ChatGPT create this global view for me. So all these countries that you see colorized are countries that actually 7K is able to ship and transact in with these different countries. Okay, so it's something that their vision when they started was to be the the company that goes across the globe that gives people the ability to save monthly or incrementally in the form of precious metals. That was their goal, is to make it easy and affordable for the average everyday person to save in the form of precious metals. So that's why when this 7K was introduced to me, I was very excited about it because it just the timing of it and everything. And with me being an independent business owner, I don't have, don't have a 401k or something that I give myself. So I have to come up with a way to save for my family and my sons and my grandkids' future. And I've been doing that with precious metals. Okay. So these are a list of all the 41 countries that 7K is available in. And I will also share a link for you to actually get more information about 7K below. So what I want to do here is I want to share a short wealth strategies presentation. Okay. And so what I'm going to do here is let me pull this up and hopefully my Zoom will cooperate with me. Share. Let me pause. Okay. So this is from 7K Metals. Okay. Now this is something that I'm really I enjoy this video. I hope you get some good information from it. This is something that can make a difference, and it's just another option for you to look at. Okay, like that. My main thing was to whoops. Hang on a second here.
This video, chances are you've got some questions about gold or silver.
Oops, that's what I was trying to do. Sorry about that. Like I said, modern technology, and of course, me with my computer, and you know how Zoom is, how it's got the bars that always kind of pop up and down. So let's see.
You know they're valuable, but maybe it feels complicated. You're not sure how to use them, where to start, or who to trust. Or maybe you've already owned gold or silver, but want a simpler way. That's exactly why we made this, to share what we've learned, so you can make confident decisions and take real steps toward building the gold and silver, and hopefully give you enough confidence to get involved. At 7K, our mission is simple. Put gold and silver into the hands of people who need it most. We are a North American authorized gold and silver dealer located in the state of Idaho. For over a decade, we've worked to remove the friction, fear, and confusion for the first-time buyer, and to simplify the process for a seasoned stacker to add more precious metals to their portfolio. Gold and silver are everywhere in the news. Governments are stacking it. It's one of the most significant asset classes on Earth, and people across the globe are paying attention. But why? Let's start with a quick look at our modern money system. In 1913, the US dollar was backed by gold and had full purchasing power. But when the government detached it from gold in 1971 and started printing like crazy, the dollar lost over 97% of its value. That's inflation. And you felt it from the grocery store to your energy bill. Fiat currency is money created by governments with no real backing, just paper we've agreed to trust. And every time they print more, your dollars buy less. That's where sound money, a better name for gold and silver, comes in. It's been a trusted store of value for thousands of years. The wealthy have used it to preserve and grow wealth. And so do banks and governments. They know what it's worth. Let's look at a simple comparison. 5 years ago, if you saved $1,000 in the bank, inflation would have eaten away at its value. But if you use that same $1,000 to buy gold or silver, that gold would be worth over $1,900 today. The silver over $2,000. Would that knowledge have changed your strategy? Probably. So why doesn't everyone do this? Because gold and silver got too complicated. People don't know how to use it, sell it, or even where to start. That's where we come in. We've made owning gold and silver simple, accessible, and smart. As a 7K member, you'll get tools that help you start stacking with confidence, starting with Sound Money Wallet, the foundation of our basic membership. Here's what it unlocks. First, fractional gold and silver purchases on any budget. Although we handle purchases in the millions, you don't have to have large amounts of money to buy gold or silver anymore. You can literally start with $1. Next, safe, secure, insured storage. No private safes or extra security systems at home required. Also, quick and easy buyback at top prices. No haggling, period. Lastly, fast, reliable shipping if you want it in hand. Sound Money Wallet solves the traditional pain points of buying and holding metals. It's a fresh take on the most time-tested form of money. And remember, there's no speculation here, only physical assets. Sound Money alone costs $199 a year. With our basic membership, you'll get Sound Money Wallet with up to $1,000 in free storage through our Vault Max facility for less. But we're more than a gold and silver dealer. We're an education platform. Our buyer certification teaches you the basics of stacking, while the collector certification opens up the exciting world of collectible gold and silver. Exclusive, limited edition coins with stories, beauty, and real value. I think it's my class, I think it's the most robust marketplace around the world. And as a member, you get exclusive access. You'll also get tools to track and sell your collectibles through Stack and Sell, our secure trading platform. Want to supercharge your stacking? That's where instant gold pay comes in. For every new 7K member you refer, we'll thank you with up to $80 in pure gold. So go quickly into Vault Max and visible in your Sound Money wallet. We don't do flashy ads. We'd rather pay you to spread the word. And if you refer 4 people within your first 14 days, we'll add up to $500 in cash rewards on top of the gold. No pressure. Sharing is totally optional. If you'd rather stack quietly, that works too. All of that comes with our basic membership. You can see that it's well worth over $400 for all the platforms here, but it's only a one-time $149, less than your annual Amazon Prime bill or premium Netflix subscription. And if you want more, go Legacy. Legacy members get everything basic offers, plus $50,000 in free storage instead of $1,000. More gold up front, unlimited collectible tracking, and a Sound Money metal matching bonus. Every time someone you refer buys gold or silver, you get up to 1% of it automatically in real metals. Whether it's 1% of 1,000 or 1 million, you won't want to miss out on free Sound Money. If you like the idea of up to $50,000 in free physical gold and silver storage in the secure Vault Max vaults, or the Sound Money metal matching bonus, the Legacy can't be beat. So it's either the basic for $149 or the Get It All Legacy for $599. Just pick the one that makes the most sense for you right now. Once you've selected the membership, you've already taken a big step, but why stop there? Successful people automate what they can because it helps them be efficient. They invest in themselves, they pay themselves first, and they make it automatic. Start with a monthly budget that fits your goals. Part for education, part for wealth building, and let automation do the heavy lifting. When it comes to education, 7K Pro is your gateway to next level confidence. With a growing library of life mastery topics, you'll get the knowledge and mindset to grow your wealth and your future. Plus, you'll unlock exclusive collectible coin access, extra perks, and member savings, all for just $59 a month. Every membership includes a 15-day free trial of 7K Pro. You'll be billed monthly after that, but you can update or cancel anytime. Now, remember that monthly budget we mentioned? Here's a smart way to use it. Put $60 into 7K Pro for education and the balance towards wealth building. A first-of-its-kind subscription that lets you choose your metal, gold or silver, set your amount, and auto-stack assets weekly or monthly. It's the easiest way to build your Sound Money portfolio hands-free. Either way, you win. There are many options, but the point is this: success loves automation. So let's make investing in yourself and your future effortless. Take a look at what would have happened if you would have set your wealth builder to purchase $100 in gold every month over the last 3 years. The real key to winning in this system is automation. You automate your monthly bills so you don't miss them. Why not automate paying yourself first to start hitting your goals without thinking about it? Autosaver sends you a premium collectible coin each month. No guesswork or effort required. These tools turn gold and silver from a someday idea into a steady strategy that fits your life. So what's your next step? Pick the membership that fits your goals. If you've got questions, talk to the person who invited you. Last thing, we mentioned this earlier, and it's fair for you to know. We have a way for you to get whichever membership you choose paid for quickly. It's likely you are already thinking of 4 or 5 people you know who might want this information. Remember the instant gold pay? For every legacy membership you refer, we will pay you $80 in gold instantly. That adds up quickly. And if you bring 4 in the first 14 days after you pick a membership, we are willing to pay up to $500 in a cash reward on top of that gold pay. That's $320 in gold and $500 in cash.
Paid for.
That's $300 back in your pocket. Again, this is optional. And if you like that, but want more, we do have other ways where you can scale this program to earn even more rewards consistently over time. That's in another video. For now, let the person who shared this information with you know which membership you'd like. And welcome to 7K, where real assets meet real confidence.
Okay, so like I said, that's you know, I prefaced that video, the wealth strategy video, with the different fees for storage, okay? Because this is something where the one thing about 7K is there is no other company out there that offers the ability for a sound money wallet. Okay, so like when if you wanted to do $1 at a time or $1 a week or something, like you could do that in gold or silver. No other company out there will allow you to purchase in as little as $1. Okay. So what you could do is, if like I use this example when I talk to people, is that say if you're a waiter or waitress at a restaurant or something, and you get, one night you get $30, $40 in tips or whatever, you could actually take that, take $30 and put it into gold or silver. Okay. That's something where, just take it like something like that, where you're getting tip money or something. Put that into your sound money wallet, whether it's gold or silver. There was another lady that was from 7K that was on one of the meetings that she actually made a comment about what she would do was and I thought this was kind of a cool idea too. A lot of times when you go to the grocery store and it'll say, this is the original price and this was the sale price, so you save this much amount of money. What she was doing, she was taking that difference between what the original price and the sale price was, and say if it said like, I saved $4.80 or whatever, she would take that $4.80 and put it into her sound money wallet. So there's different ways that you can do it incrementally. But what's really cool about 7K is, besides the fact that they allow you to do it in as little as $1 at a time, is the fact that in your sound money wallet, okay, so you can do it between gold or silver, and build up towards like a full 1 ounce silver eagle or a full 1 ounce gold bar or a gold coin. And I'll actually show you how that looks here in a moment. But as you're adding to it, people are like, well, what if how do I get the money out? Okay. Okay, if you aren't able to get to like a full bar, say you had like, we'll just use as an example, $600 as far as in like towards gold, but then you had an emergency expense come up. You could actually, with a click of your mouse, change that gold back into fiat currency or whatever currency your country is in, and actually have it transferred back into your bank account all with like instantaneously. Okay, it's something where you can actually start saving in gold and silver incrementally, but then also at the same time, if you ever need to actually convert it back to a currency that you're using for your normal everyday bills or whatever, you could actually just do that all with a click of a mouse. Okay, so it's something where every gold and silver company, just to preface this in case you're a complete beginner, Every gold and silver company, their sell price is up here and their buyback price is down here. 7Ks is always within the top 2 or 3, if not the number one, as far as the buyback price. Okay, so they do offer a great buyback price. Okay, so that's where they say, and it's like it's just what it is. This is their buyback price, and so all you do is click it, and you convert whatever amount that you have in your sound money wallet back to that, and it goes back into your bank account. So it's that easy. No other company out there does that. So it's something that I yeah, okay. I have actually purchased stuff from goldsilver.com, SD bullion, and then also um money metals I have not. But I have bought stuff from gold and silver from other companies. And a lot of times what I've run into with when I bought them is just certain hidden fees, because they'll always have you can get the Silver Eagle as low as, well, usually there's, if you go to purchase it and you have you know, if you do a wire transfer, it's this cost. If you do Bitcoin, it's this, because they'll even take it in Bitcoin. It's this cost. If you do PayPal or a credit card, it's this price. Or if you can do even still mail in a check or whatever to them, like a certified check or whatever to them, and they will give you a different price for that. So it's kind of keep in mind all of that as you're looking at this. Like I said, this is an informational video. I'm just sharing from my personal experience and the history and the knowledge and everything that I've done and the research I've done on gold and silver. But I do want to, let me pull up this here. Actually, yeah, let's see, share. Okay, so let's go here. I will get back to this real quick about 7K. Okay, I know I kind of like jumped here a little bit. But like they said, they've been doing this for over a decade. Okay, they were founded in 2016 by these 4 gentlemen: Zach Davis, Roger Ball, Josh Anderson, and Richard Hansen. They are located in Idaho Falls, Idaho. So if you're actually in that city in Idaho, you could actually walk in their front door. They are a physical business. So it's not one of these fictitious, or I should say fictitious, but one of these virtual companies where they don't actually have a physical site. Okay, you're doing everything online. It's like Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. Is there a cryptocurrency store? No, there's not. There's no physical place where the people are. You're doing everything virtual. But in this case here, they do have a physical store. They have their website. They have a phone number you can call and contact people. They have a top-notch support team. I cannot speak highly enough of them. I have a ton of respect for them. And, it's something that, whoops, I lost my spot here again. Sorry about that. Here, so it's something that to keep in mind when you're, looking at different places. Now, yes, I'm a little bit partial to 7K, but do your due diligence. If you, look into goldandsilver.com, Andy Schectman's the president of Miles Franklin. Okay. You have JM Bullion. So there's an SD Bullion. You have all these companies out there, but do your due diligence. But I wanted to share with you what something to keep in mind about doing that if you do go with these other companies. Keep in mind their storage fees too, unless you want to take the physical delivery on it. 7K, I know usually when they ship stuff, it always comes FedEx and it's tracked with a 2-day delivery. I do know that. So it's something that to kind of keep in mind. And when they were talking in the video about let's see if I have it. Yeah. Okay. They were talking in the video about the basic and then the legacy. Okay. So with the basic, that was the 149. Okay. And you can actually do a monthly autosaver. And people say, well, why would I do the monthly autosaver with a collectible coin? One of the benefits of 7K is they have every purchase for an autosaver that's a collectible coin. They do have points associated with it, which is what she was trying to explain, how they'll give you the points to earn the commission checks. Like they said, if you refer 4 people and they're all legacy customers within the first 14 days of your membership, you'll get $80 per person in gold into your sound money wallet. So the minute that somebody signs up for the legacy in your sound money wallet, they will instantly put $80 in there. That's yours to keep. Okay. And then like with basic customers, if they you refer somebody to the standard membership, you would get $20 into your Sound Money wallet automatically. So that's pretty cool because it's something where it's paying you for sharing the opportunity. But then if you each membership has points, which is what have here. So there's 20 commission points is for the basic, and there's 150 commission points for the legacy. And then 50 loyalty points goes towards the sponsor. So the loyalty points, and I know this is kind of might sound confusing, but it's really quite simple. And I can do this if anybody wants to jump on a separate Zoom call or have me do a separate presentation for you and walk you through everything with 7K. I can do that as well. But loyalty points are what they put as an added bonus into your account. So when they're saying here 50 loyalty points, those loyalty points you can accumulate them and exchange it for physical silver or gold. Okay, so it's really another added bonus about 7K. And then in both cases, the person that's enrolling into 7K, they get 100 loyalty points as well. Okay, so that's really cool with what they do. They have a lot of benefits. With the basic customer, that is a $149 per year membership. Okay, or thing. The legacy customer, you pay that $599, and then you never have to pay another fee again for the up to $50,000 in storage and having access to all the great benefits of 7K. And so if you were on the fence because you may not have the $599 right now, which is fine, you could always upgrade at a later date and you would then go ahead and get that benefit. But what she was saying too in that video is anybody that's a legacy customer and you refer another customer, anytime they make a purchase in gold or silver that goes into their Sound Money wallet, okay, they would get 1% of that purchase put into their Sound Money wallet. So it's an added benefit. There's a lot of benefits to 7K. That's why I always get excited about sharing it. But that's something that I just want to share with everybody. So you have the 149 and 599. But then what I wanted to share is what I do because of, I will have a link below this video. It's going to be sngsolutions.org/silver today. That's a link you can use if you wanted to create your membership with 7K. And anybody who creates a membership through that link, I personally will send you from me. Now, this isn't from 7K. This is from me personally. I'll send you, and that's what I got up during the presentation to go grab. I'll send you one of these, Silver and Gold Solutions coffee mugs, okay, which is brand new. That'd be part of the team. This silver Indian dollar. Okay, so right now this is like a $39 without shipping and handling costs if you would order it online. So this is something it's uncirculated. It's a pure pristine one, silver Indian head buffalo. And then also a 1 ounce copper coin. This is a 1 ounce buffalo. There's a bison on it. And I have a couple other different variations of the copper coin that I could send you as well. But that's right now, this is a $65 value from me to you just for joining 7K if you so choose. Okay. And, even if you don't, I want you to have this information because, like I said, there's a lot of great information that I shared here with you today. And I'm sorry, I know this took a little bit longer, but this is stuff I wanted to make sure that you had the information, whether you do something now or down the road, at least you know what's happening in the world of gold and silver and precious metals and also copper. And it just gives you some insight and some ideas on, what you can do down the road. So say, even if you, say in this situation you're strapped for money or whatever and can't do the account or whatever, share the information with another person, whether it's your somebody in your family or a relative or somebody that you work with, and find a way maybe you could go into together with it and on it, because even if you did like a joint account with somebody, it can only be in one person's name because they need to do that for any type of tax purposes or transactions or whatever, because of course, if you earn the $500 weekly check for whatever from 7K, then once you in the United States, once I think it's over $660, I believe, then they would have to send you a tax statement when it comes time for tax return, to do your tax return. But so it would have to be in one person's name, but you could still segregate the percentage of gold and silver you put into the Sound Money wallet by just, keeping track of the transactions, because all that is traceable and trackable. And I'm going to share one more screen and then I'll be done. Okay. So I wanted to see, my apologies. No. This one. Okay. All right. Let's do this. Share. Okay. All right. So this is one of my accounts of 7K. Okay. Because if you are a business owner, you can actually have a personal account and a business account as long as you have two different tax IDs. That's the only way you could actually have two accounts with 7K is if if you're a business owner and you have a separate tax ID for that. Okay. So this is my test account for the wealth builder. Okay. So this is like, there's $90 in worth of in 68 cents worth of 1 ounce US silver eagles, $80.71 worth of 1 ounce US gold eagles, and then $26.04 of 1 ounce gold bars. I did a video of going back, I think it's almost 2 years ago now, how I bought $4 worth of, or $8 worth of gold at midnight. So that's something that I'd use that as an example of how you could just buy in such a small amount. So I wanted to share that with you. So you see how it breaks down by what commodities you have it saved in. Okay. So in this case here, anytime the price of gold goes up or down, gold or silver goes up and down, these prices on a throughout the day will fluctuate in price. So like say for an example, typically when gold goes up, it'll like spike up high in the day and then it'll kind of drop down a little bit more to something a little more reasonable as the day moves on. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily go down. But in this case here, it's like say if gold went up to $3,500 an ounce or $3,600 an ounce, that would be reflected in the gold price here. It would go up. So in this case here, depending on what silver is, you may want to convert that gold to silver, okay, because your value went up, so you'd be able to buy more silver with it, okay? So this is what I'm trying to get to at the point of, and I'll have to do another video on this, a shorter one, okay? But this is a way for you to utilize the gains on gold and silver. It's like Mike Maloney, actually, I wanted to share that with you here. And then also loyalty points. See, like I said here, it accumulates as far as by your purchase. Like this is for me over the last 5 years, okay? As far as different auto savers and everything that I have. So this is something where you can accumulate that, and I'll show you here. Okay, so in this case here, there's 1,700 points. I could get a half-gram gold coin. So I could actually buy two of these to get basically 2 half-gram gold coins for that 1,700 points. Or here's this 50-gram copper these are graded. So usually whenever you see something that's NGC graded, or I think the other one is PCGS, that means it's guaranteed to maintain that pristine value for as long as it. A lot of people are like, why would I want a graded coin? Because it's guaranteed that it's for a collector standpoint. Usually graded coins will last longer. I mean, it will actually increase in value exponentially faster than regular bullion or whatever. Now, that's not necessarily guaranteed. Sometimes it doesn't, but in the one video that I could share a little bit later is when it talks about collector coins, there are certain collector coins that have grown astronomically in value. But this just goes to show you, like all these ones here, I could get up to, even this one's 1,400 points, 1,400 points. This one's 1,540, a 1 ounce silver, and that's like these are like limited edition ones. Most of these coins here are low mintage, so that's where a lot of the value comes in as well. And I'm just short of this half dome 2 ounce silver coin. Okay, so I just wanted to share this with you. So if you're wondering what they were referring to as far as loyalty points, that's what it's referring to. And then also, going back to showing you what the wealth builder is actually the sound money wallet. Okay, and you can actually set up whether you want X amount per month, however you want to do it. Okay, so I know this was a ton of information, and I'm sorry this got a little bit longer, but I really do appreciate everyone's time. I enjoy sharing this information. I do get excited about it. And even, if you decide to become a member 7K, great. If you don't, that's good too, as long as you take the information and put it into use. And hopefully share the information with, your family members, your coworkers, your friends, and, see if it's something that, it's going to benefit them from taking the time to watch it. Okay. So if you have any questions, I'll have my email address below. You can always reach out to me at ricketsilverandgoldsolutions.org and also through my worksmarterforyou.com website, because those are my two main websites. And this is background. I'm beautiful Galena, Illinois. So I wanted to thank everybody for taking the time to live on the Zoom call as well as here in person. Everybody's been quiet, so it's been kind of interesting. So anyways, thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate your time, and we'll talk to everybody again soon. Like I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and I will touch base with everybody. And I wish everybody, all the dads that are watching the video and all the dads present, happy Father's Day. And for all the graduates who graduated this year, congratulations. And hopefully this will give you some insight for saving for yourself in your future. It's something that it will definitely benefit you, and it doesn't have to be difficult to start saving in the form of silver and gold. Like even if you save, on a monthly basis, if you went and purchased 1 ounce, 1 ounce silver American Eagle, that's still going to stack up over the course of time, and it's still going to have its value as increase over the course of time. And like I said, it's physical, it's tangible, it's something that nobody can take that away from you. And so it's something, just even if you just make that point to every month, this is what I'm going to do. Okay. And like I use the example of the waiter waitress. Okay. Say if you make, $80 of tips a week. So even if you took $10 a week and put it into silver and gold, you know what that would do over the course of time. And then also, of course, I had mentioned the revaluation of gold. If they do revalue gold from the $42.22 or 0.2222 to, say, if they revalue that to, $1,000, or even what the current price of gold today, the 3,400, just imagine what that would do for the value of what you've saved in gold. Personally, okay, it's going to increase that exponentially as well. So I hope everybody has a great Father's Day weekend. Congratulations to the graduates of 2025. Happy Father's Day, everyone. And thank you very much for taking the time to share some time with me this afternoon. And we'll talk to everybody again soon. Okay, take care.